Because usually when we do the workshop, we want to make sure that we're reducing behavior and modifying the way that people perform here on campus. But in this case, we really wanted to make sure that it wasn't just resonating with the students here. They would bring it back and persuade their families, their mothers, their other generations of members of the community to reduce the sodium intake as well. And for that, I'd like to give special thanks to Vicki Call, who is our client representative at the American Heart Association, who actually brought this assignment to us, and I think initially through the Colin Powell folks, right? You went to the Colin Powell folks and talked to them about how you wanted to talk to Hispanics, students in particular, and bringing it out into the community. And fortunately for us, we have a wonderful relationship with the folks at Colin Powell, and they brought us to you. And so we had lunch back in the fall and had just a wonderful conversation, and we realized that this was going to be one of the great projects that we had here at City College. We are an ADPR program dedicated to service learning, and so each semester when we try to select a client and a project for the ADPR workshop, we want to make sure that it impacts the community and changes the behaviors in positive ways, so that our students know that, especially here in the workshop, which is the senior capstone thesis project for the ADPR program, so that students know that their discipline in public relations and advertising isn't just about selling things and buying things, selling things off the shelf or doing crisis management, but it's also about changing the world and impacting society in really profound and positive ways. And for that, we especially thank you, Vicki, for bringing this project to us, because it so satisfies our mission. And know that you have this heart and this commitment for it, and you have been our client-student liaison and have been most invested in this project. And for that, we'd all like to thank Vicki. To us. This is a client pitch, so this is a judge competition, and so we have judges here, most of whom are from the American Heart Association, but we also have someone who's a professional in the communications industry who's going to keep the American Heart Association honest. I would like you all to just kind of turn around and introduce yourself and who you are in the project.
Buenas tardes, good afternoon. Vicki Call, I am Regional Director for Multicultural Initiative in New Jersey. And New York City, I go close to the here to Canada City, but I am very glad to be here today.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Meredith Kuhn. I am the Communications Director for New York City for the American Heart Association.
Hi, I'm Kathy Wilkins. I'm Vice President of Communications for the Founders Affiliate, and I am so excited to see your presentation today, so thank you, everybody.
Hello, I'm Carla Mercado, and I'm the President of MGS Communications, based here in New York. Glad to be here.
So this is the ADPR workshop client pitch. This means that this is actually the last class that our graduating seniors will participate in. In fact, if it weren't for this, you probably wouldn't have been able to say that last week. And so this is a moment where we get to celebrate you. You see that you have a lot of faculty members here in the department here. They're not only here to see this project, but they're also here to see the progress that you've made as you've made your way through the program. And so this is not only a celebration of how awesome these projects are, but of you. You entered this workshop 15 or so weeks ago as what we have been calling pre-professionals. And whether you know it or not, or whether you landed that job, or any of you were thinking about offering jobs, it's not a bad time to think about who's behind you. You are so much professionals, and we are so, so proud of you. And so this is to you guys as a celebration. So let me just give you everybody kind of an overview of what you're about to see and how the structure of the pitch goes. 15 weeks ago, Vicki came to us, and members of colleagues from the American Heart Association, and came to us with a challenge, and that was to talk about some of the health disparities that about 8 students each, equally balanced in skill set. And each one of those teams, all 3 of them did their own research, both primary and secondary, so 3 different groups of research. They all, from that research, developed their own integrated marketing communications plan, a strategy. So what you'll see here are 3 completely different strategies off of the exact same assignment. And then off of that strategy, they created integrated marketing communications campaigns that needed to have required elements and any other additional elements that they saw fit. It had to have an advertising element in terms of print, it had to have alternative media, it had to have public relations material, 5 elements, and it had to have an on-campus event. They also had to have measurement for all of those things. So in addition to producing their work, they had to measure whether or not that work was effective and whether people responded to that strategic message. The culmination of which is in these leaf behinds that you'll all be privileged enough to be able to look at when you do your deliberations. You'll see a lot of the research in these leaf behinds. They're about 80-page documents. And the top notes of that are going to be presented today to you in 3 consecutive 20-minute presentations. The presentations will go right in a row. We ask that you hold off on questions until all 3 of the presentations are done. When the 3rd presentation comes up, the rest of your one team will be joined by the other 2 teams, and at that time you can ask questions. And then the judges will leave. They'll go to Ed Keller's illustrious office. Maybe a wet bar. Opportunity for you all to deliberate, and then come back in and do what I think is actually the hardest job of the entire workshop. I mean, you guys all think you did a lot of hard work this semester. You really, really did. But to Professor Applebaum's mind and mine, you 4 actually have the hardest job of all, and that is to determine which of the 3 campaigns are most effective. And we do not envy you, because we go back and forth and go, I don't know, it's up to them, thank God. So without further ado, I would like to bring up our first team, Ignite Media.
Big challenge to influence our Hispanic students' communities by pointing out and showing that they have a heightened risk for cardiovascular disease. So, when you talk about communities, you have to talk about families. Families are the structure and makeup of communities. So we wanted to take our message and shape it around families. We needed more information. More information comes from research. But we needed to shape our research around students, City College students. We, unfortunately, don't have access to grandmothers, grandfathers, mothers, fathers. So with our research, we constructed a survey for City College Hispanic students that asked them about home life, eating habits, things like that. And what we found was surprising. Now, Vicki, I know when you were here, when we were talked a little bit about how fast food seemed to be a big problem. And we were on board. It seemed like a really easy fast food bad. But what we found was that an overwhelming majority of our students eat at home 3 to 4 times a week. Home-cooked meals prepared by their family, their mother, their father. They eat all of that at home. So these students must be the most healthy students, right, in the school. They think they were. In their surveys, they said they were healthy eaters, healthy students. But later on in their surveys, when we found out a little bit more about what they eat, we found out the ingredients used are loaded with sodium, packed. So this is the first problem. So why do they think that they are healthy eaters? Is it because they don't think about what they're eating? We think so. What we found out was that these students find comfort in the food that they get prepared for them at home, and they don't really question what's in it. Home is their place of comfort, so they don't really think about it. Now, when you think about this, this is clearly a problem. Where is the disconnect between reality and perception for these students? Why do they think that they are healthy eaters when they're not? In reality, these Hispanic CCNY students are eating at home, like I said, multiple times a week, 4+ times a week, homemade food. And the sodium-rich ingredients have led to an increased risk for cardiovascular disease in Hispanic students. So the perception, unfortunately, is that there shouldn't be any reason to question the food at home. Home is a place of comfort, a sanctuary away from all of the stress of life, part-time jobs, full-time school, and it's a place of trust. They should trust the person making the decision for them, so why ever question it? Now our goal is to jolt these students out of their comfort and out of their complacency, because ignorance is no excuse for complacency.
So when conducting research, we found that our primary competition came from the New York Department of Health, because they share a target of New York residents and ask them to make a change in their behavior. They actually have a campaign that combats high sodium intake, but we don't consider this competition because they're asking for a similar change in behavior. Instead, their high sugar intake and their anti-smoking campaigns are considered our competition because they steal the spotlight away from high sodium intake awareness.
So who are we talking to? We are talking to Hispanic CCNY undergraduate students and their families. We know that 30% of City College students come from Hispanic and Latino origin. We also know that 96% of these students commute to City College on a daily basis. And from our research, a few weeks ago, we found that 84% of students we surveyed live at home with their parents. So these are students that are constantly on the go. They're busy, they're trying to maintain their social life and their work life. We know that they're constantly in conjunction with whatever, school, and they're involved with many things. We know that they commute daily. They are stressed college students and they're very family-centric. These are students that come from a low-income family that make less than $50,000 a year. And we know that they go home to eat lunch or dinner because they want to save money, and also because they want to spend time with their family. They come from a culture that's respectable and they value their family. So their family becomes their comfort. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to create this campaign that can talk to both students and the family members, because we know that comfort for them, their family is their comfort. We know that family time becomes healthy time. So why exactly this approach?
Well, as Wayne said earlier, we surveyed about 200 students, and what we found out was that in the presence of their loved ones, students tend to defer their critical thinking. They don't question what they're eating when they're home with their family or at their table, because they assume that what they're being given is healthy. They don't question it. They just basically trust everything that they're being fed at home. As for our target market incentive statement, it's basically just a summary of our strategy thus far. To CCNY, Hispanic, family-oriented college students, the American Heart Association is the thought reduction advocacy organization that makes family time healthier, since that's where most meals are consumed.
So what is our overall communications objective? What's our net takeaway? And the main one is, do not let the comfort of home and family blind you, make you passive of the extreme amount of sodium in most home-cooked meals. So with that, what is our expected takeaway? One, we want them to be more critical and more vocal about the home-cooked meals, but more importantly, to feel inspired, to go home, stand next to your mom, your abuela, your tia, whoever's the main person that makes those meals, and be with them to see what kind of ingredients they're putting in, to be more, not saying, hey, mom, don't put that, but to make sure there's more healthier ingredients in them. So with that, what is our overall tonality when it comes to our campaign? We want it to be lighthearted. This is kind of scary information. Cardiovascular health is slightly terrifying. We don't want to make these students feel bombarded with all of these things and make them just ignore it completely. But we still want it to be informational. Have the facts, have the critical things that they need to know when it comes to leading a healthy life, but also be inspirational, to motivate them, for them to go home, like I said before, be with their mom, their grandma, tell them about these facts, and just have a healthy family altogether.
So up to this point, we've talked about research and conceiving a strategy. But we needed a big idea. We needed something to move forward. So what we started to think of was, how can we jolt students out of their comfort? That was our goal. I know the most fun way is a big bucket of water, a big bucket of cold water, something. But instead, what we wanted to do is create some sort of dissonance, a juxtaposition. We wanted to juxtapose the danger of high sodium consumption with a more obvious comfort of home and danger within the home, dramatizing that salt is in the least expected places and is usually a lot less obviously dangerous than other things. The home, salty of shows that the danger is at home, and it's not always as obvious as possible.
In relation to advertising, our print ads, we wanted to bring the dangers of high sodium consumption into our home, and also visualize the comfort that's within our families at the table that tends to turn off our target audience's critical thinking to what's good for them and what's bad for them. If you're familiar with the game Where's Waldo, you see the concept of the game is to look for Waldo to find him, but instead of doing that, we wanted our audience to find the actual danger. So I'm going to present to you our first print ad. In this scene, we have a mother here with a blatant danger, the fire in the pot. And over here, we have two individuals enjoying a meal that shows love, comfort. Danger couldn't be possible to be here, could it? But actually, there is danger. Where is the real danger? The body copy reads, Mamás a los y habichuelas fills our hearts with love and our diets with salt. Maybe that's why Hispanics are more likely to suffer from a stroke, and that's really dangerous. Same love, less salt.
Our second ad features a family eating their delicious meal at the dinner table. On the top, you can see the cracks and the dust that are coming from the ceiling, and the huge swing in that looks as if it's about to fall down. Here we ask you to spot the real danger, and the body copy helps to point out where it really lies. Mamás arroz con pollo is more salt than we think. Maybe that's why Hispanics are more likely to suffer from a heart attack, and that's really dangerous. Same love, less salt.
Last but not least, this ad features parents enjoying a delicious meal at a dinner table. While everything may seem to be in order, there's a candle that might light the matter of fire. Find the real danger. We love Mama's taco con salami, but it has more salt than you think. Maybe that's why Hispanics are more likely to suffer from high blood pressure, and that's really dangerous. Same love, less salt.
In all of our ads, we've highlighted certain words in them to encourage the viewer to look for the real danger, the danger that lies within their food.
During our first meeting, one of the prime goals that Vicky expressed during our first meeting, one of the first goals that she expressed was she wanted our audience to go home and tell their families about the dangers of high sodium consumption. We believe with our ads that our audience will look at our ads and say, oh, salt is not only good bad for me, it's bad for us, my family. Naturally, in this ads, we use Janet's family.
All these ads, we didn't use no Google Photoshop image. I hijacked my phone during Easter dinner. And you see that's my mom being set on fire. So it's really, we're getting the whole idea of family, making them together. They're obviously comfortable because these families, we all love each other for the most part. So when we're all together, there's love, there's the comfort, there's the danger of the food. So you can obviously see the blindness, and it's clearly plain here. And the best way to show this actually have people really love each other. So now that you see our ad campaign, we want to move on to public relations. There were several tactics that we wanted to tackle on to help enhance our message. And the first thing we did was a press release. So with that, we had event information, facts about AHA, Ignite Media, again, to get people to know about our event. After that, we released a media alert. So with the media alert, again, to get the on-campus media to know more about, obviously, our event. And lastly, we did a pitch letter, which we released to several publications within the City College campus to, again, get people to know about our event, to know about our message, and basically to write about it. So one of our first placements was a PSA. So you see Luke here, being a little DJ, and he was able to deliver our message on WCCR, City College's own radio station. So we did that the Friday before and the Monday before our event, again, to make sure we had 2 broadcasts available to make sure that people actually heard the message, they know it, and they're aware of the event as well. So I'm going to pass it along to Helen to speak a little bit more about our other placements.
For our outlet, we wanted to go straight to the student body. We wanted to do that by writing an outlet to the City College newspaper. We wanted to capitalize on the fact that it was finals week coming up and a time when students tend to reach for comfort food and stress. So we gave them tips on how to have a healthy and productive finals week by cutting salt. We gave them some tips that were replacing salt with herbs and spices, packing your own lunches, and even recommending some low sodium options at home to mom. As for our social media, we utilized the platforms of Facebook and Instagram, and we wanted to use it as a way to further share our message and interact with our students. We split our tactics up into 3 areas of before, during, and after the event. Before wanted to engage the students. We reached out to popular CCNY pages and asked them to feature our message and just get students to talk about sodium intake. We also used it as a way to advertise our alternative media as well as our events. And we also wanted to bring the message back to our ads. So we created a contest where we asked students to spot the 3 dangers that they saw in the ads we saw earlier, and if they get it right, they would get a free raffle ticket to be claimed at the event and we would win a prize. During the event, we would ask students to hashtag same love, less salt, and post healthy home in order for them to be featured on our page. And after the event, we utilized the sign-in sheet that we got in order to send out an email blast, both thanking the students for coming and encouraging them to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram to see pictures from that day. We also wanted to keep the momentum going on the topic of sodium, so we shared our op-ed, we shared our PDSA, and we also shared some delicious AHA recipes, because bilingual recipe book was a really big hit at our event. And also, in light of Mother's Day, we wanted to give our students one last push by asking them to post a picture of their mom with the hashtag same love, less salt, or in Spanish. I'm sorry. As you can see, I'm not Hispanic. In Spanish, and we wanted to do that as a symbol for them to promise to cook healthier and eat healthier and with less salt. As you can see, that's Brian's grandma and mother, and they're both promising to cook that pepperoni.
So in crafting our alternative media idea, we related it back to our target childhood. I know when I was a young lad, I wanted my So we did just that. We placed lunch bags over our NAC building, and within each bag were scoops of salt and a note inviting people to our Home Salty Home event. We drew people to these bags with a promise of a free homemade meal and a note from Mom, Tia, Abuela. This one reads, "Have an amazing day. Te amo, Mama. I love you, Mama." And the salt within each bag is representative of what our target is actually eating in their home cooked meals.
So for our event, we did some research and discovered that most Hispanic students eat meals at home, and the family table where they felt most comfortable. So for our event, we want to amplify the idea of that comfort and that trust and incorporate into our event by recreating a family table. So we brought up the idea of that comfort and that intimacy while exploring the truth behind their homemade meal.
So to prep for our event, we released a flyer. So it was for the day before and the day of the event, with the event information, but to tie in again the family, my family in particular. There's my mom again, there's my brother, and my cousin. I have a lot of cousins, so I had a lot of people to choose from. So again, it was a full, entire family affair. In addition to that, we also had a brochure. So we handed that the day of the event, of course, and in it we had AHA guidelines, tips and tricks to reduce your salt intake, as well as a recipe they could use. And I know I brought this home to my mom, even though she wanted it because she was on it, but she probably used it, she actually read it over, so I can only imagine how many other kids who actually brought it home and shared it with their family members, how helpful that could have been for them as well.
So we began our event by welcoming students in and asking them to share with us their favorite homemade meal. Some popular meals include moro de verduras, sancocho, and mac and cheese. And we actually conducted a survey at the end of our event to help measure how effective it was. And we had some comments from students. The first student said sodium comes in huge quantities in our food without us noticing. So moving forward, we treated students with Brian's abuela's famous for meal and egg and potato salad, as well as Jennifer's aunt's famous rice and beans. So we know that the AHA was actually the first meal at our event, and we learned a lot from your visit. And we wanted to say that we learned that we had to point out that there was sodium in the meal, and although we did put less sodium in it, we still want to give the illusion of that traditional homemade meal. So as soon as sat down at the family table, they competed in the familiar face-off. So after the face-off, they competed with the other table, and they had to answer questions about sodium. So here we had students competing, and they were interacting with each other. And every time they got a question wrong, a balloon which represented their heart would pop. The balloon lasted the longest would win. Moving on, the activity was the sodium is right.
So in our sodium is right, we lined up a variety of products that are in our target's home every day. And we chose 2 contestants and asked them to pick 4 products which they believed had the least amount of sodium. At the end of the round, the big reveal was that products which they believed were actually low in sodium were very high in sodium content. And then we challenge our contestants to go home and share this information with their families and think more about the ingredients that go into their meals that are cooked at home.
So we tied together the event around the AHA table. We gave students the AHA brochure, the recipe book, as well as they also participated in a raffle, which they entered after completing the short survey. The AHA recipe book, as Helen mentioned, was a huge success. A lot of students actually expressed interest in sharing that with their families. A lot of the students actually came across our Trinity media, and they actually asked if we were serving real food this time. But overall, this event was a startling, balloon-popping wake-up call about sodium in home-cooked meal. The survey that we conducted actually helped us measure how effective our event was in terms of how far they would go to reach out to their families. One of our last comments was, salt is absolutely everywhere.
And our campaign was everywhere as well. On the 3 days leading up to the event, we have 79 likes on Facebook, 23 on Instagram, and the campus magazine, where Helen posted her editorial, receives 195 page views a day. Luke Bedford, where he posted Aaron's PSA on WCCR, has about 80 listeners per broadcast. 84% of our students who attended said they were very likely to recommend and spread our message to their families, and our print advertising reached approximately 4,500 students over 3 days. And based on these measurements, we suggest that our Home Salty Home campaign is implemented across all community institutions and campuses, and our social media content featured exclusively in Spanish, and increased content in delivering sodium recipes and other brochures exclusively in Spanish and English on harp.org.
So we'd like to thank the American Heart Association as well as Professor Alphon for TAG for allowing us to create the Home Salty Home campaign. This campaign has not only taught us to work as a team, but as a community. We learned a lot about the needs of the community, and we have to say that we hope that this campaign helps reflect our efforts to help the AHA reach their 2020 goal. And before we leave, we would like to give you guys something as
It's coming. So we decided to play on the idea of the home salty home and home sweet home. Sorry, so it was like home salty home play snacks.
Good afternoon. How's everyone doing today? Good? Great. We're so excited to present to you our campaign. We want to thank the American Heart Association for allowing us to work on this semester. My name is Timothy.
I'm Jennifer. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Sophie.
I'm Ellie. I'm Candy. I'm Lorena.
And we're Vote Now. So, Professor Tack said before, 4 months ago, you came to us and you communicated to us a problem. You told us that Hispanics are consuming too much salt and that this is leading them to experience cardiovascular diseases, things like hypertension, strokes, and heart attacks. You wanted us to take this message and to communicate it to the Hispanic college student at CCNY. You wanted us to give them something that can impact their health and the health of their families. So we did primary research, we did secondary research, we worked hard to understand who our target audience is, the marketplace they're in, and the families they're a part of. All of our research led us to a fascinating key insight that we think anchored the messaging of our entire campaign. We found out that CCNY Hispanic college students are actually health conscious, and that they're making decisions to change their health, but they're only making decisions that impact their physical appearance. And guess what? They don't care about SALT because SALT doesn't impact their physical appearance. We saw this as a huge barrier that we had to move past if we were going to effectively communicate a compelling campaign to these students. So we decided to do something about it. We decided to focus on the concrete consequences that SALT has on the college student now.
So let's talk about salt. We know that students are consuming too much salt, but Hispanic students are consuming more than the average student. Why? There's a contributing factor. It's the fact that they come home to home-cooked meals with too much salt. We conducted a survey and we found out that indeed they do have a broad awareness of the dangers. They know that it causes high blood pressure, stroke, and heart attack. So Vote 9 wanted to do research and find out exactly what it is that directly affects our target audience, and we found out that salt causes headaches, bloating, and dizziness to our target audience. And so how are we going to communicate this message, and why even tell our target audience that? It's very simple. Like Thomas Farley said from the New York Times, he said that a lifetime of salt consumption can cause high blood pressure, which triggers heart attacks and strokes. So the key word here is that it's a lifetime impact. So then we have to look at our competition. We have our competing messages come from influencers that have message and information to the older generation. Our target audience isn't older. The influencers consist of doctors, health organizations, and also advertising. They have directly messaged their information to the older generation. So it's not the fault of our target audience that they think that salt doesn't affect them until now.
Who are we talking to? We're talking to millennials, 17 to 25-year-old CCNY students. And of those, we're really focused on 32% considered as Hispanics. They make $15,000 for the rest of the year. 60% of them still live at home with their family, and 3/4 or 75% of their meals are still coming from home. There are students who are juggling between school and work, and while at the same time they're studying, right? And so this influences the decisions they make, and we wanted to figure out how do we get inside their heads? Well, the millennials, so they're egocentric. They're focused on their body, not necessarily, not their body appearance, not necessarily their body's health, right? However, because of the strong influence of home-cooked meals on their lives, family time meals is a time where they get to reconnect with their Hispanic roots, while at the same time adjusting to and adopting a new multicultural lifestyle.
Let's summarize the strategy up to this point. The egocentric CCNY Hispanic student, the American Heart Association is an anti-sodium advocate that makes them more empathetic about salt's impact on their parents and their grandparents. So how do we motivate this group to connect and to hold on tightly to our message?